Chat Sports. Not only are we a day late and a dollar short without Mo, we wish her healthy to get better soon. She's been sick. But welcome to the Sportsnista. Cassandra, our girl Cassandra's here to fill in for Mo. She had to go get another booster seat. So. I don't got the short girl problem, so I don't know what that's like. But we can see you great. Thank you for filling in for Mo. We appreciate you for joining in. We're gonna try and have a shorter show today, but there was just so much going on. I mean, it's like you thought October was crazy when you start getting basketball, football, baseball. Yeah. This right now is wild. And we've got Olympics. We've got the Major League Baseball's deadline happened, trade deadline. You've got the Hall of Fame game was today, preseason starting next week. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I have like I work from home, so I'm usually able to watch the Olympics. Well, today I don't work at home, so I feel like I have like FOMO. Like I didn't get to catch the women's basketball game. I saw the stats and I just feel like I didn't get to be part of what's happening. I don't, the replays at night, I don't really watch them. I'm just like, I want to watch it when it's on, like in the middle of the day.
I got to catch like the morning, and I'm going to catch some of the replay as well. There's certainly some I'm paying attention to. Some I ain't. Don't have all that time. Like, do you feel like the Olympics aren't as big as they used to be? Like, they're getting huge ratings.
Right. Oh. So we've got to prompt the Sportsnista. Oh yeah. When you have calls, you got to like turn your phone on like air. Because when you get busy, when you're a busy lady like you, if you get calls and texts or calls especially, it takes off the screen. But you know how it goes.
That call ain't even for me. It's like one of my daughter's little friends. I got the situation set up so that her calls and texts come to my phone.
Oh, gotta be on top of it. Yes. So yeah, Olympics are here. And it's been a wild ride so far.
Right. It has been for sure. But, I just feel like it's not as maybe because it's like, the time zone situation, and every year it's competing for more attention because there's so many other things. The fact that it's on 11 different apps, I can't even keep it. I don't know where the stuff is anymore.
And then when I've actually gone on the Peacock app, and it's so confusing. It's like, watch all the highlights, watch this, watch that. Or when I went to look at the first... Everything, pick something. How about you tell me what is on this screen? What am I going to be seeing? Like, there's no details, there's nothing. It's just kind of like whatever. But I do enjoy, I have the DirecTV app. So the sports mix is now the Olympic sports mix.
Oh, cool.
So anything on the USA channels, it's like 6 different channels. It'll have whatever's on. So that's been good to watch. We can, we've got to talk about Simone Biles in the U.S. women's gymnastics team. Listen, yes, I think it was Durant that called her Goat Biles or something. Like, I watched half of this, the beginning half, and she was actually down, of course, until the floor routine. The floor routine, she kills it every time. She wins the gold all around. She also, the team won the gold. So it's just, she's now the most decorated gymnastics Olympian, male or female, in history. So
she had a little bit of a bobble on the uneven bars, and everybody kind of clutched the pearls a little bit with her, and she had a real threat from Brazil and Rebecca Andrade. In fact, during the post-event press conference, Simone was like, I don't want to do this no more. Hand it to Rebecca. I ain't never been this stressed before. And, she had some real competition. She had competition, right? But not like on her level competition. It's just the closest. She still beat the girl by almost 2 points. So, it was still a considerable amount of space between her and the other competitor. But that gal, Rebecca Andrade from Brazil, is like she's got 8 kids. used to
No,
for real walk 2 hours.
she was one of 8 kids.
Yeah, she was one of it. Yeah. She for real
And then
used to
walking 2 hours to the gym when they couldn't
Yes.
afford the bus.
Well, she
Listen.
would like make her own bike to try to get back and forth to, and then also she has had not one, not two, but 3 ACLs in the past 5 years.
Wild.
That's crazy. The fact she could come back like that and still be on that level. You know, she got silver in Tokyo and silver again in the all around today. And so phenomenal stories coming out of gymnastics for certain.
They did it. And here's what I was crazy, which is crazy, because I thought Simone had won the all around in the last, maybe I guess she didn't win last, I don't know. So obviously
She dropped
at
out.
27 years old, she's the oldest because everybody since 1976 has been under the age of 20.
Girl.
That's
And you know what I'm loving about her too is she's a little petty. She's a little petty.
She is. Yeah, she did a little petty game with her former teammate that was calling them lazy and whatnot. Yeah. Just ridiculous.
I mean, especially when you have Suni Lee on that team, who had to go through, you know, kidney failure to get back to this level. Ain't no way you could call a girl like that lazy. What did she gain? Like
Absolutely
not. 40-something pounds during this whole ordeal that she had to go through. Major organ failure. Like, that word should not come out your mouth. And she got checked for it. And then she subsequently blocked Simone Biles.
You can't come after the GOAT, huh? What's up, Alicia, Jonathan? We appreciate you. April, thanks for tapping in. You can't talk to the GOAT like that and not get checked. You know, that's kind of how it goes.
You know,
it is what it is, right?
She's 4'8". I think Suni is 5 feet, 5'1". She looks like a giant next to them. Andrade is like 5 feet tall. Like, they are very small in stature, but incredibly powerful athletes.
Absolutely. There was one of the gymnasts, I can't remember what country she was from, but she was tumbling so hard she couldn't stop herself when it was time to, like, yeah, like she was always going out of bounds because she was going so hard in her tumble routine on the floor that she didn't have the power to stop herself and plant, you know, with her feet. So it was just, it's wild. The US, of course, we knew the women's team was going to do well. What was surprising, of course, is that the men's team actually placed this year, which was the first in a long time, getting the bronze medal. And I think I had a picture of the guys. Steve, we got to talk about Steve, because Steve came through on the pommel horse, and this is his only event that he does. He literally is on the team just for this one event. I guess he's an engineer as well. Like, you could tell, they showed a video of him doing a Rubik's Cube in like 19 seconds.
Okay.
So everybody went wild. They're calling him the Clark Kent of the men's gymnastics team, but literally, like, I think they showed him there sitting with his glasses for a while, just taking it all in, and then he does the pommel, and boom, the guys get the bronze.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do.
He got one job.
Like, you got one job, and he did his job.
And that's how it's supposed to be. And what's crazy is that people say that he has glasses, he doesn't wear contacts, but that he's like, I don't need to see the pommel horse, I feel it. And that's,
he's a man with special skills.
Man. One of our girl, April, this is Cassandra, the Sportsnista. She is one of our friends and media family here in Las Vegas. She's big in the UFC game, and we'll get to a UFC topic here later on as well, but of course all sports. And she's filling in for Mo because Mo is still feeling a little under the weather, so we're giving Mo a break this week. And especially since we're off next week, we wanted to just make sure we kind of tapped in with everybody and to talk about the Olympics a little bit more, because there's just been so much. You know, we got to also talk about this phenom who apparently is still not done yet. Katie Ledecky. At first, when I was looking at pictures and notes, I was like 2 days ago, she had tied for the most career medals. And as of today, with the relay team winning silver, she now has the record 13th career medal. So she is now the most decorated Olympian swimmer, which is
and she
wild.
said she's not done. She's looking to
And she said
LA.
she's not done. I just
So she got
a
her first
gold,
medal, which was a gold when she was 15 years old. And this is her background is really interesting. So her uncle is part owner in the Islanders, the hockey team. Her dad is an attorney who went to Yale and Harvard. She went to Stanford. She's had a lot of resources given to her. She also has had 8 different coaches throughout her Olympic career. So she's an interesting bird, right? I mean, you look at Michael Phelps, who was with, the one coach for like almost his entire life, but Katie seems to like want to spread
or maybe she's just learning more things from other people. I was surprised by seeing there was a picture of her in one of the club booths or whatever. It must have been at the Kings or whatever game with Michael Jordan. She was probably like 2 or 3 years old, sitting in a seat in front of Michael Jordan, like back in like 2003. I was like, or 2000 it was. I was like, wait a minute.
Right. Just something else. I mean, she was definitely born with special skills, but you can't just have talent at that level. You're going to need drive. You're going to need a support system as well. And so most of the athletes have the drive. It's a support system that seems to vary per team and per athlete. But golly, that gal just cannot be denied. She's not be denied.
She can't. She really can't. Other people that so far can't be denied, which has been surprising, would be the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. After struggling in their pre-Olympic games, have gone 3-0 in their play. They beat Zambia, they beat Germany, and they beat Australia. And for most of us, I think we were all surprised. They a lot of the vets are gone, the names that we're familiar with, and we're seeing these young ladies. Seeing these ladies perform. What I thought was funny is that they had mentioned that last time there was someone playing with pink hair. It was with obviously Megan, and they won the gold that year. So maybe the pink hair, maybe the pink hair is working for them. But they definitely
pink hair.
Yeah, it's only the second time, which is crazy because the women's soccer team has been so good. It's only the second time in the history of the U.S. women's national soccer team that they've won all 3 of their group stages since 2012. So that's 3 Olympics now. It's wild. I don't know.
12 years, man.
12 years. And then, of course, we've got our men's and women's basketball team. The men, came back in full force against South Sudan. People are calling LeBron James the Captain L'America. Captain L'America. He's definitely showing who he is in the Olympics. We've seen some coaching changes from Steve Kerr. At first, he had left Tatum out of the game. The first game, the second game, it was Embiid. And so we're seeing rotations, but they seem to be working. I mean, I know Katie went off the first game. I know Adebayo had a great game the second game. So it seems like
in Las Vegas quite a bit, sneaking in and out of here.
Yeah, little Vegas boo.
We'll talk about her in a second.
It's not social media official yet, though, so we can't really,
But that would be cute.
Yeah, it'd be cute. The women's team as well. We'll get to them in a second. But we got to talk. I know we've discussed this. I know we've had some posts similar. But the 3v3. Now, when I originally made a post this morning, they had just lost their 3rd game. Apparently, they won their 2nd game. So they are 1-3 now. The guys are 0-4. And now I know today the guys also were out one player. 3-on-3 has got to be tough with even just only 3 players not even having a sub because it looks tough as it is already. There's no breaks. You can't jog up and down the court. You're literally playing offense, defense, nonstop for like the 12 minutes.
Okay.
But the women's team. Haley Van
So,
Lith, Dearica Hamby, Ryan
who
Howard.
looked at this on paper and was like, yeah, bet, let's go to the Olympics?
Well, now they
We
had
didn't
Cam
know.
Brink first. They had Cam
Right,
Brink, who
right.
got injured, and I think Hamby is I think Hamby's
She's playing for her life out there, though. She's fighting for her life.
and by herself.
Oh, so listen, I think Haley is a good college player. She has limited, if any, international experience. So how did she end up on the team? It's a whole roster of women's basketball players, names who could have come up. Where's Arike? Like, where, she wanted to go. Put her on
Arike
the
would have been amazing at it. My thing, someone had said that Haley Van Lith maybe played some like FIBA 3-on-3 like younger, maybe that was I don't know if that
like
was a
15.
factor or not.
Okay,
but
she was like,
my thing is with I don't even remember her name. The other girl who hasn't played in the W for I don't know how long, who just somehow gets picked for the 3v3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and then
really bizarre.
I don't get it. And I don't get how what is the Atlanta girl's name? She's been injured like half the season and she gets healed back just in time for this to play, but you haven't been playing. So why?
Yeah,
What's the
it's
point?
really odd to me that it's 3, you need 4, right? It's a whole roster. Where everybody else that, it's really unfortunate too for Dearica Hamby, who is having an all-star worthy season.
Absolutely.
And she's out there, she got 2 little kids at home. She got to be out there fighting for her life. Jesus,
it's tough. One thing that I will say that I just learned today is that the league that Brianna Stewart and who is the Nafisa Collier are starting, the Unrivaled that starts in January. There will be 30. I didn't realize that was a 3-on-3 league. So I'm hoping that with those 3
girls.
I'm hoping that once that starts, that maybe more players are like, okay, I'm down for 3 because we're going to have to get a whole new squad next Olympics.
Well, think
like this
about
can't happen in LA.
Kelsey, Jackie, and Dolson balled out last Olympics.
Well, and 2 of those are now in the regular.
Right. So there is a formula.
Yeah.
There is a formula. We can play 3-on-3 basketball in this country. It's just the wrong team. It was a wrong
And
player.
why didn't Dolson get the invite again? Like Cam's out. Let's bring Dolson back. Like where would that?
And I don't know who the sub was on that last Olympic team, but whoever the sub was she available? Was it Sloop? Might have been Sloop. I feel like it was.
I think she's playing for a country's team. She's playing for another. I think she's playing for an Olympic team though. One of the.
Then maybe it wasn't Sloot, but
I don't know. But 1-3 ain't good, and like Jonathan said, get some dudes from Big 3. My thing is get some college players, get some ballers that are coming out of college. Get a couple. How do none of these pro guys want to go to the Olympics? I just don't get. Maybe I just don't. I don't know.
Hello, Jaylen Brown.
He was complaining about not making the Olympic team. Like, why can't you be on a 3-on-3? Who makes these decisions?
Whoever did, either they were soused just like playing beer pong, or they was on their way to quit and it didn't matter because
they were playing darts. They were just throwing darts at names in a circle and whatever it landed. I don't even know how some of these names even got in the pot.
I know. Jimmer Fredette. I mean, the kid, the Barry kid. Gosh, why is his name escaping me?
I forgot his. But isn't he related? Is he related to one of the Barrys?
His dad. Yes,
okay.
His dad was the one who pioneered. Rick Barry pioneered like the underhanded shot. Now he shoots like 90% efficiency from the free throw line with that unorthodox style. So. I mean, I guess he's there for that. It looked real crazy, like when you're a grown
But they're
man.
gonna need more things than free throws to get them through to wins.
Yeah. Obviously, because they 0-4.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It's not just that they're not winning. It's quite embarrassing.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
is. It is. What's up, Chris? Chris in the house saying what's up
Hey,
to
Rick,
Cassandra in the
what's up?
house. He
What's
said,
happening?
get our guy Mark Constant on the right page. What page is listen, Mark, we can't even talk about Quan right now. Quan, I don't know what's going on in his head, his
What?
Twitter fingers, if he's extra. Let's just say he's extra. He was talking about Griner today, and that Griner wants, it's just, it's a lot. There's a couple people we know that were talking about Griner today in the comments about if you want to be a pop to your child, then that means you're a guy. And then why are you playing in the WNBA? And
No, it doesn't mean that you're a guy because she has not
it
changed.
means you don't want two moms. Like, why can't you
Right.
just have one? Who wants to say mom one, mom two? Like, what do you
Exactly.
do? I don't
Let
know.
me just say something.
Yeah.
Your name ain't Quan and you ain't 5'9". So hey. If we're gonna go there, we're gonna go there. Pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle. Yeah, Chris. We're, tag him, get him on. Yeah, Quan. He's always just way too busy for everybody. So yeah. A couple other things in regards to the Olympics that were wild and crazy. One, so I don't know if you saw the boat movie, Men in a Boat, I think it was called. It was about the University of Washington's rowing team.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically what it was like. These guys, the first Olympic men's rowing team to win a gold medal since 1960. They're the 4-man team. I heard there was some reports that maybe this is the first for the 4-man team, but that the 8-man team has won since 1960. I didn't verify that fact, but I got to give that's exceptional. That's
man, that
here's
is
what
like serious athletic ability too, because it ain't no joke when you're in there. Like, my whole guts would be my heels.
Well, you would be the person on the end calling out. You'd be like the little person that's on the top of it.
Talking all kinds of shit because I can't swim, first of all. So I want to know why I'm in the boat.
Oh, but here's what I'm still questions on. So we know that the river there in Paris, yes. They spent a 1.5 1.5 with a B billion dollars to clean it up prior to the Olympics. When the rain hit on the opening ceremony, apparently it, washed all the sewer and nastiness back in. They couldn't go in there to do their triathlons and open.
Oh, so it was delayed because of that?
It was delayed because of that, yes. But apparently today,
it was due to the river.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yesterday was the first time that since people haven't swam in there since 1900. I don't want to be in there whether you spend $1 billion or $3 billion on cleaning it, because there's got to be something wrong.
Yes, due to in the river. Like, you're not spending that kind of money
It's just gross.
Wow. It looks like it was like a spill in there.
It looks disgusting.
Toilet water.
And we got to talk about the 51-year-old man from Turkey who went into the pistol shooting competition. Listen, when my brother tagged me this or found this to send this to me, because this would be something that my dad would be so proud of. Like, this 51-year-old man went into this competition, looked like he had just walked out of bed, nothing fancy, no fancy jersey, like literally had a turkey shirt on.
He
and
got
house shoes, one hand in his pocket. He had no eye protection other than the regular glasses. These guys in the Olympics, they have like these little special glasses where it kind of covers one of your eyes, so you're just looking out one to be able to get a good aim. He didn't bother with those. Everybody has these super big ear protection on. He literally had, I think, a couple of foam things in his ears, nothing major. He took away the show and became like this viral sensation. It's just
right here. Listen, he's not really an athlete. This is just a dude who happened to be in the Olympics. Okay, he got a set of special skills. Do not run up on his house. Do not talk about his wife and kids. Nothing. Leave this man alone. He does this.
Listen, I ain't going into his house. I'm not going to try to go near his house, near his car, near him. Anyway, this man took home a silver. That's it.
He only got silver because he didn't really want nobody knocking on his door asking no more questions about him. He went out, got whatever money was attached to that medal, but didn't get all that he attached to being the gold medalist, because this is what he do.
That's what he does. Chris said it's air pistols are like curling. It's all coordination, zero athletic. I beg to differ, Chris. Curling to be in those half splits on ice and
Yes.
trying to brush your way. I mean, I feel like that's
My abs
some
are
athletic
burning
ability.
thinking about that. That takes some core stuff. Yeah. I could
It
only do
does.
it like, maybe
Your friend Quan59, aka
here you go.
in the chat with dudes, don't let dudes hit women. We are going to talk about that discussion because, and he also mentioned that you are his favorite because he knows me and him are going to go to battle.
There you go.
We definitely need to talk about this other hot topic that's been going on. Of course,
Yeah.
you've seen the story about the supposed transgender athlete, the Algerian boxer who I can't remember what it was a girl from Italy who had stopped the fight. Like she bent on her knees, started crying, said she'd never been hit that hard in the face before.
She got hit once.
Listen, I don't know who she's been sparring with. But it came to be that so now there was this whole outrage and there's this whole like right-wing anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ regarding this woman being transgender and that she was not supposed to be fighting in here. Well, come to find out that she is female born. She has female parts. She's legally considered a woman. And she's also from Algeria, where you're not going to just be able to get a transgender surgery. They're not going to be able to change your passport to female.
It's 100%
yeah. So
illegal.
it's not happening in our country. She's been a woman. The thing is that she's been fighting professionally. I think they said since like 2000, like she's been fighting professionally for a long time. She was in the last Olympics and she, I think, had lost to somebody. There was no issues in all of her professional fights in regards to if she's a man or a woman, whether she hits too hard or not. She even lost some fights. So the fact that it was just this one person from Italy who started by, bending down, getting on her knees, quitting the fight. The IOC spokesperson did mention this, that they are women on their passports. They're women who have competed in the Tokyo Olympics and have been competing for many years. I think we have all responsibility to tone it down and not turn it into a witch hunt.
Yeah.
Basically, she has an XY chromosome. And some people feel that if you have an XY chromosome that considers you to not be female, but you have all female parts, you might just have a little extra something else.
Yeah. Well, she's not the only one. There's the other Taiwanese athlete. Last name is Lin. So along with this woman from Algeria, they were both suspended in 2023 because they had high levels of testosterone. They do the test. You've got now the XY. Women have two X's, men have XY. So they do have elevated levels of testosterone. However, they are not trans athletes. But the IOC is a whole boo-boo show. I mean, it is. It's just a shit show, and they got to get it together because you are putting women at risk because they are in the ring with individuals who have elevated levels of testosterone, and that has to be addressed. It's not just like, are you trans or are you not, but are you in a position to do more harm than a woman?
Are you taking any hormones or whatnot?
And
like I know
Chris, you would be suspended. If you tested at those levels that they tested, you would get suspended in the pros for this. Fresh on Cruz, who is an undisputed champion, 2 years ago, 2020, January 2020, 4 years ago, damn, that was a while ago, fought, her last name is Alejandra Jimenez, who now is a full-blown trans male.
Oh.
At the time, it looked like a duck and it quacked like a duck. And a lot of people were suspicious when this woman got into the ring with Franchon. Franchon lost at that time. The ruling was, the result was overturned because this gal, she tested positive 8 ways till Sunday. She peed so hot, like my house burnt down, and I'm in a different state. And so Franchon Cruz Dezerm, you should look at her feed, has been very vocal today about, it doesn't really matter how other people feel about it. It matters how the Italian fighter felt in that experience. So even though this person is not 100% trans, the fact that she does have this XY chromosome situation and higher levels of testosterone, it puts the fighters at a different level of risk. In America, a lot of our girls do spar with men. They don't do that in other countries. You don't have the resources and different like social norms that you have. So when you get hit in the face by somebody who has some bone density that could be similar to a male fighter, it's problematic. So there's two things going on. There's the stupidity and the ignorance, like a man, it's trans, it's not that. But then there's just like the real like sportsmanship side of it that says IOC's got to get its house in order. You suspended them in 2023. What happened to make them now?
Why was she okay to go now? Who knows? I just feel like those are the topics that should be talked about, not the ones regarding her being transgender.
Because it's not true.
Steve mentioned a good point. He said Michael Phelps is genetically gifted by having a lower lactic acid content, but no one bats an eye about that.
But that's not the same thing, though, because he is not in combat with another individual.
Combat sports different,
right?
Yes.
You're not,
but he does have a different genetic, which helps him in his sport.
Right, but it's not making it dangerous for other people in the pool. Right. He ain't reaching over and like butterflying on somebody's head. So
I guess I wish I would have done more research on the girl from Italy. Like, how many fights has she been in? How has she been doing? I just feel like one punch and you were done. Like, that was it.
She has had, I believe, 10 years in boxing. Like, this gal is like, has an amateur pedigree. She has, had many fights before this time and also sparred in her gym. She's been trained. She had to go through the Olympic process to qualify. So it was not her first fight. But I do think some of it was like psychosomatic, right? I mean, she knows who she was going to fight.
Right. Looking at the pictures. Yeah.
Right. In her head. And she also knew that she had been suspended in 2023. And so she had this information, but she was, I thought very mature about it in the speaking afterwards. She was like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or good or bad. I'm just saying how I felt getting hit in there. So she's like, I wish her well. I hope she goes all the way.
It was the media and the Twitter fingers or X fingers out there that spun it in a completely different direction.
The cesspool of Twix. And I mean, listen, there was some professional boxers in there, like real people who had a lot to say. And even Clarissa Shields, she walked some of it back. And, Jamel Herring was in there. Like, a lot of people were talking about this. And I think, we knew this was going to happen. The IOC had, made all this fuzzy 2 years ago. And sent it back.
You got to get their lines straight. Yeah.
I don't know. But I think, I understand the whole argument. I just, we got to filter out the ignorance of the whole thing. Like, it's not, that's a man, it's not. Does she have advantages? Yes.
Speaking of strong women out there, the U.S. Women's rugby team, first of all, not to mention they broke a world record with 66,000 fans watching rugby at the Olympics, but they won the bronze medal. Then it's the first time that the U.S. has ever medaled in this event. So big props to the U.S. rugby team. Also, we have to give credit to Michelle King. We know her that she owns some of soccer clubs, including the Washington Spirit here in the U.S. She donated $4 million gift to U.S. women's rugby over the next 4 years in advance of the 2028 Olympics to hopefully get more people involved and develop the game more before the next Olympics here in L.A. So wild times. And then of course you've got they said that they got that the women's water polo has Silver Flav and that the rugby team has Jason Kelsey. He showed up, him and Kylie, I think it's Kylie, right? Him and his wife Kylie showed up. He had a full-on pictured USA soccer rugby shirt on for the game, and they definitely were big fans. So those were good to see. We got to talk about the pin game. I am
that's hilarious.
I didn't realize this, but every team or every sport gets their own pin. Well, Snoop got his own personally made so that he could do it. But I didn't realize that all the teams, all the sports get their pins that they can trade and kind of do like a, a business card swap or whatever. But he got his own made and they're legit. People were dying over them. Coco Golf got her one. So it was, man, that's pretty wild. I thoroughly enjoyed
cool. I love that, that they trade the pins and all.
I know. Isn't that cool? We also need to show this before we finish off with the Olympics. This is the pay that countries give their medalists. So the US, 37,000 for gold, 22,000 for silver, 15,000 for bronze. Highest would be Singapore, $737,000 for gold.
Yeah, but ain't nobody won it.
368,000 for silver, 180,000. You've got Taiwan up in the 700s as well. Italy has 197,000 for gold. Germany 21,000. But the craziest one, and Kazakhstan is the one in the far bottom right. You get a 3-bedroom apartment for gold, a 2-bedroom apartment for silver, and a 1-bedroom apartment for bronze. I'm sure housing out there must be nuts because they're giving away places. They're giving away apartments if you win, which I thought was
deluxe apartment in the sky.
In the sky. Yeah. Let's talk about the Aces. So the Aces, or not the Aces, sorry. The Aces, basically it's the USAces. We got 4 ladies on the team, but the Team USA did take down Belgium today, 87-84. Another double-double for Asia. She had double-double the first game. Almost the same exact stats, except this time she had 3 steals. Last time she had 4. Yes. Unbelievable. Asia out there killing it. But we got to give credit to, I know Brianna had 26 points today, but she had 20. This was from the first game. Chelsea had 17 assists. I mean, to see Brianna and Asia on the same team and just both be balling out of control, it's almost beautiful to see that.
And listen, Sabrina Ionescu came through today, so they had some adversity in the crowd. Everybody was cheering for the Belgians, and to the extent, there's a point differential that matters as you advance through the rounds, and I think they needed to lose by less than 15. I think the Belgian team, something like that. And so they were really close in the last minute. And so Ionescu gets the ball. I think there was like 10, 12 seconds left or whatever. And so she shot it from like half court. And she
gets it.
And they hot as fish grease, right? They booing her, calling all kinds of names. And she's like,
he's like, whatever. USA, thanks.
What is she supposed to do? Not shoot the ball?
You're not there to give participation trophies. You're there to win.
Defend it. But she also didn't. It was not a layup. It was damn near half court that she
was
shot.
Just trying. It's not her fault that she's good.
Got rid of it. That's what she did.
I mean, that's just what it is. Yeah.
But they looked good after all of the flack that team took. Losing the All-Star game, which was really like a practice for them because they hadn't practiced. Yeah. And, they're going to take care of business. The team is too deep, too talented. Although I don't love the coach. I don't. It's a physical game. Why you got Jackie Young sitting there? She's a big physical guard. Put her out there. You got Kelsey Plum out
I think
there,
they're still trying to figure out. I mean, when you've got so much talent, it's like they got to try. I think you still got to figure out just which rotations are working or not or what's needed and what's not. Yeah, it's
embarrassment. And I'm sure Becky Hammond is like, hey, lay off my players. They ain't got to play.
Becky's spending time with the boys and family, and she's like,
She's in Paris.
Oh, she's there with
Okay. She's in Paris, but I'm sure she's fine. Like, hey, man, I don't need my MVP out there, like, leading this team. Put BG in there.
And then there was some suspicion when people saw Chelsea getting off the bus today that she had been favoring a leg, and so people were kind of worried about that. It's just, who knows?
Yeah, like 14 assists today, right? I mean,
she's Chelsea Gray, but we know what Kelsey's always going to find a camera. That's for sure.
That's hilarious. But she needs some. You know what I love though is Plum and Jewel Lloyd, they're so tight,
So good.
They got inside jokes. They're always around each other. Like I'm digging that,
I like
because
it.
uh, if it's a question, do we get Lloyd or do we get Plum? There's a conversation that need to be had. Right there.
Listen, I can't talk bad about my Husky alum.
That's
Listen.
what I'm saying.
But Julie Happy, she got a new squad up there in Seattle, and she loves the Pacific Northwest. So
they're about to get their new spot. They got their training facility on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm loving the one.
Training facilities there. They're just waiting for the stadium now, the arena. Well, they already have the arena climate, but the Sonics get in there, and they're going to have a whole new arena too. So
we need that here. We need to hurry up and get this NBA team so that
it'll get announced, I think, like this fall. I'm sure before the season starts, they'll have some news. Before we finish off, though, we got to also talk about Tiffany Hayes. She's out there balling for her team in the 3-on-3. I can't even pronounce it right. The Azerbaijan.
Yep. I'm gonna let you say.
But even though I think they were 1-3 earlier today. I don't know what they are as of now. I don't know if everybody had 2 games. But they actually beat Team USA, and she's scoring in double digits, which is, great. I mean, to score 10 points or more in a game of 3v3, you're scoring half your team's points basically.
Watch that gal come playoff time. I think she's gonna be really valuable for the Aces. Coming in as she's been starting.
Well, and her speed too. Her speed is just ridiculous.
She's getting her legs back. She's getting her legs back now too. That's why I think actually it's important for Chelsea Gray to be playing some of these minutes right now, because she missed the whole first half of the season, and she needs her conditioning right now more than anything. And so I'm glad that she's getting in the game and getting her minutes. That's important.
And shout out to Megan too. Megan Gustafson. She's been playing for Spain, balling like 18 points. I think she had 21 games. I mean, she's really. Everybody has been commenting like, okay, bring that back to Vegas when he returns. Like, we need to see that Megan, the Megan that's posting up, the Megan that's doing all the. This is the Megan we want to see back in Vegas. So
it's like, where was that Megan?
Yeah, where's she been?
And since the Aces released that they're going to be raising ticket prices next year, so we're going to need to see everybody show up. And it's not. I mean, if you go to a Golden Knights game or a Raiders game in this town, like, these Aces tickets are still a steal.
Oh yeah, I mean, cheapest ticket I think is $15 a seat. But the thing is that they basically doubled prices in some categories. Like your old $25 tickets are now $50. And so some of the new, I won't say new Aces fans, but the new sports fans that haven't been going to Golden Knights games, NFL games, like, these tickets cost over $100 when you're going. So the fact that you can still get a decent seat for $25 is not bad.
Do they need a bigger arena? They play in one of the smaller arenas, especially for a championship team. I mean, you look at Seattle, or especially New York, Chicago, but looking around the league, they need to have more seats. And since they don't have more seats, they're going to have to jack up the prices, because listen, people have to make a profit. Mark Davis has to make a profit, because then you're not going to be able to pay these players. So enjoy this championship run. If y'all want.
Well, and that new media deal will help in paying them, but they also got to get that CBA worked out when it's done too, to be able to increase that pay. So
that's coming back. That's coming back.
I do want to shout out, which I hadn't realized, the Las Vegas Lights have 10 games undefeated. So that means no losses. They've either tied or won their last 10 games. They are in playoff contention. They're 5th in the Western Conference. This has not happened in Lights history now, ever.
And it's such a fun experience. I feel badly I haven't gotten out there, but it's 150 degrees.
I know. Me and Mo's are the same, because they completely redid the whole. I mean, they have a whole new area to sit and watch from. It's. We got to get out there. Hopefully,
is it more shade? They put more shade.
Yeah.
I think
so. Maybe.
Well,
I think it's shade.
They'll give away all these tickets, right? But parking is like $20. It's
at
like
Cashman.
free. You just gotta pay for the park, but it's still, and it's fun. They've got the drum bots out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
You've got the
really,
fan clubs for the games. I mean,
yeah.
they're, but speaking of prices, I know you could probably speak some to this. The UFC
Hey,
306, which is going to be the first ever live sporting event in the Sphere, is going to be for UFC 306, which is on September 14th. Tickets starting at $1,600.
now the Sphere, there's not a bad seat in the house. So even though like
There's
it's
not.
hundred
No.
dollars is it's steep. It's a lot of freaking money for certain, but you will be able to see, and the way that they're going to be setting it up is going to be crazy. So I talked to Dana White about this a couple of weeks ago, and I asked, why the partnership with Riyadh season with the Saudis. Well, because he had already been $15 million in at this point, and it was June, and
Wow.
so it's probably going to cost. Well, we know it's upwards of $16 million, so it could be 16, it could be 25 million before it's all said and done. So they're going to have to recoup some of that money, but it's going to be a spectacle for certain.
Well, my thing is that, I haven't been, but when you've seen videos of the Sphere, obviously there's something happening down low, which is where the arena will be, where the octagon will be. But what's going to be happening on all the LED around us? Is that going to be like a giant picture? So, and then I know one of the fighters had mentioned, like, I don't even know how that's going to affect me fighting, because you're seeing all these LED lights everywhere.
So there will be kind of like a preview of it in, I guess, about a month. We'll be able to go in there and see what's going on. But yeah, all of that stuff is TBD. I mean, they've been working furiously on it. But those, from what I understand early on, like it's really going to be able to help draw the audience into the fight. So hopefully the fighters.
It'll be interesting to see what it looks like. I mean, I just know what it looked like for the draft, seeing the stage and then seeing things, or watching the concerts that have been there, and then you see the stage and you see everything in the background. So I'm just like, what's all in the background for the UFC?
Right.
Like,
well, Dana was
what are we going to be seeing?
He's like, that's going to be like child's play when we get in there. It's going to be like kids drawing with a crayon. I'm like, okay,
oh my God.
All I really want to know is where I'm going to park.
You might as well just park at the Venetian. Just park at the Venetian and walk on over.
Yes, right. Put the kicks in the bag.
Just park on it. Yeah.
I can't. Super excited to go because it's like $100 to go to the Sphere show anyway.
Just for a regular show, just for the little hour and a half, whatever is happening in there. Yeah. Which is why I mentioned earlier, like the NFL draft tickets were cheaper than a show at the Sphere. You could have went and enjoyed the Sphere NFL draft at like $50 some.
And listen, you get them Frontier or Spirit tickets for $19, and the whole thing is cheaper, travel and all.
Make it happen. I do want to give some props and also talk a little bit more about this too, is that Paige Buccaneer. So Paige Bucks, she not only gets her own player exclusive edition Nike GT Hustle 3 shoe, which will drop on 9/12. She's the first college basketball player to receive that honor, which is amazing, let alone. But she also signed an NIL deal with the Unrivaled Basketball League, which was the one we were talking about with Stewie and Nafisa Collier. She will be playing with them when she's out of school. So I don't know if that would be, it probably be this season, but when she's out of college, she will be playing with them for their 3v3 team. Here's what I just read though. They had got a bunch of donors and sponsors like Major League Baseball, a basketball player. I mean, I think not Otani, I'm sorry. Serena's husband. What's
Alex?
I forget his last name. Alex, yes. He provided some money. Their cap for 30 players is at least $7.5 million. So on average for 30 players, that's like $250 per player, which is already over the supermax WNBA contract.
So when that CBA comes up, Guess what?
Listen, all I know is that those 30, Chelsea's already on it. Kelsey's already on, signed up for January. But this is the way that they're keeping the girls in the States in the off season to play. And we're going to see 3-on-3. So.
Right. I mean, but then they're going to be playing for like 9 months of the year.
But they were playing, some of them were playing for longer than that, a year overseas.
And this rookie class too with Paige, I mean, we talked a lot about the current rookie class.
Sure.
It's more coming. And Paige is basically going to be a rookie next season again.
Mm-hmm. And if Juju decides to go next year, I mean, there's a lot. You got the girl from South Carolina too. And what's the other one? I think and Flauget, I think she'll probably be in the draft next year.
Yep. Yeah. If she
it'll definitely be wild. Speaking of money and kids, these two guys from Texas Longhorns, they got an NIL deal with the Lamborghini in Austin, Isaiah Bond and Michael Taff. They both were gifted Lambos by the dealership for their partnerships for the 2024 season.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
What? This is what we're going with. Somebody's getting a Mayo deal but these guys are getting Lambos in Austin.
All right. Well, I mean, can I get some cash instead of that? I mean, does cash come with it? You know what I mean? Because like Lambo need gas.
I'm trying to say.
Wow.
Listen, if you do make it to I got to check out Chris over at I love me some Grand Lux. So he's at the Grand Lux at the Palazzo. So if you park at the Palazzo to go to the Sphere, you got to go check with Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, the free Lambos is crazy though. I just can't. It's wild times.
Catch the Hall of Fame? Like, is it over?
The what?
The Hall of Fame game?
No, it had a rain. Well, there was a rain delay, then cancellation. I think the Bears ended up winning it. They just canceled it because the rain. Doesn't this happen like every year? I feel like the rain delay. There's always some kind of rain delay. Well, this year it got canceled. So it canceled. I think it was like the third quarter. I don't know if it got to the fourth quarter or not.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's over.
The Bears quarterback that they had
playing today.
The kid. He's played from West Virginia. Does some wild stuff. Like, he used like the Potomac River as like his ice bath. Like, does like walking handstands for like 50 yards, crazy stuff like that. He's just a different kind of cat.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
What else you want? Or walk on your hands.
There's of course a ton of other things happening. The trade deadline went through. I'm not even getting into it because there were so many trades, but they were all very like, Right. Like there was no monster trade. Like it was like, oh. But the one big thing is that Mike Trout is out again for the rest of the season. His second meniscus tear this year. I don't know.
He's 32 years old, and
that's a lot.
He's committed to staying in Anaheim, and
which is wild.
But it was not a good decision to do that. It just wasn't.
No.
I mean, this guy is one of the most gifted, pure baseball players.
Or was one of the most gifted.
What? Just like pure baseball, could just play all sides, both sides of the game, and stayed out of trouble. Great ambassador of sport, and just stayed in Anaheim. I'm like, what is I can't wait for like the Graham Bessinger interview with him. Like, like why you do that?
Right. I want to get into some girl power before we finish up. We've been talking a lot. If you're just joining in with us now, this is Sportsnista Cassandra, one of our girls here in media in Las Vegas. Mo's sick, and so we wish her best to get better. But there will be no show next week, so we wanted to jump on today. We talked about the Olympics a lot, so if you're just jumping on now, feel free to watch the replay. Go to our YouTube, subscribe at Girl Chat Sports, and some girl power. So this is Adriana Olivia. She's from Guatemala. She received Guatemala's first ever gold medal and the first ever Olympic medal won by a woman for Guatemala. She did women's trap shooting. I love trap shooting.
I hope she got more than an apartment.
I don't know. They didn't post Guatemala's prizes, so I'm hoping she definitely got more than that. You also have, let's see, this is Neda Havez. She is an Egyptian fencer. This woman competed 7 months pregnant.
Hey,
7
now.
months pregnant
That's
fencing.
unfair.
Listen, she's just taking a
Wow.
page out of Serena's book. I don't know how she's done so far,
Yeah,
but that's
that's
just
amazing.
wild. It's completely wild. And then we got to give it up for Jiying Zhang, 58-year-old tennis player. She's originally from China. She started when she was like 4, was a pro by 12, had a national team by 16. She retired and moved to Chile to teach school for children. She got back into table tennis during COVID. 54, she started competing in regional tournaments and then, of course, got qualified for the Olympic Games. She went there to play in the Olympics this year. She didn't make it past the preliminary round, but she says she still plans to be active. 58.
Good for her. Wow.
And that table tennis ain't no joke. So.
That's the one thing about the Olympics, in addition to like the winning and, the bravado that happens. It's just like hearing the stories of people who have overcome adversity and kind of been able to see themselves through all of that to reach their dream. And for some people, the dream is to get there. And for some people, the dream is to win. You might be representing your family, your village in some cases. And, there are a lot of people who had to sacrifice in order to get that one person there for that one moment. And it's always great to hear those stories that get washed away amongst the big names.
Chris, the Chinese ping pong players are the GOATs. Listen, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're born with these ping pong paddles. But I don't know if it's just...
Yeah.
It's wild because they be killing it for scum. There, they did.
Well, I do.
Yeah. But last one, we got to give a shout out to Flavor Flav as well as Alex. What is it? I keep forgetting his last name. Alex Ohanian. Yes. So of course Serena's husband, but also Reddit co-founder, tech promoter. So this is Veronica Fraley. She's a discus throw for the U.S. track and field. She's competing in the Olympics. I think it is like Friday or tomorrow. But she had made a tweet which only had like 40 likes and like a few hundred views until they tagged Flavor Flav and Alex Ohanian that she couldn't pay her rent this month, and that because her school, which I found out is Vanderbilt University, she's a second-year grad student, had paid I think 3/4 of it. She was still short. Flavor had responded and said he was going to take care of it. Don't worry about your rent. I got you. Well, Alex decided to join in and actually sent her Cash App to her $7,760 to pay her rent for the year. Also a play on the numbers because of his tech company 776, which also is one of the biggest supporters of women athletes out there. There's a lot of things he's doing great. So we'll be looking for her in the Olympics to see how she does in discus. But come on.
Listen, good things happen when you support women in sports. And so,
but how is it I'm just like, how does your school, and she said the same thing, like how do these football players and stuff get full rides of everything, but a person who's in the Olympics, who's at an elite level is struggling to pay her rent. Make it make sense, please.
She's representing the country, not just a school.
So big shout out to her. Anyways, Sportsnista, Miss Cassandra, let us know where people can find you on social media or where they can find, I know where you got your stories at and stuff too.
Yeah, so I write for LV Sports Biz, so lvsportsbiz.com. So you'll see boxing, UFC, aces, a few other things. Catch me there. Twitter is at the Sportsnista. Instagram is at _Sportsnista, and I'm bringing back my YouTube. So
what?
I got all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead but I'm going back to IG soon. I'm redoing some fun stuff over there.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you for joining me and helping me fill in this week and getting the show off the ground. For everybody else, there'll be no show tomorrow. So make sure you go check out some replays on the Girl Chat Sports YouTube page. Shout out to Fuel Sports for always having us on live on the Amazon Fire Stick, as well as Roku channels. You can go to Fuel Sports Network. And that's it for today. Mo, we love you. Feel better. And we'll catch y'all in 2 weeks.
Peace
Bye.
out. Bye.